WWE has always thrived on spectacle, drama, and pushing the boundaries of entertainment. Over the decades, the company has delivered unforgettable moments that captivated millions, but not without stirring controversy along the way. From shocking storylines and real-life tensions spilling into the ring to wardrobe mishaps and questionable creative decisions, WWE has often walked a fine line between thrilling its audience and provoking backlash. This exploration looks at some of the most outrageous and talked about moments in WWE history, revealing how risk-taking shaped its legacy, for better or worse, in the ever-evolving world of sports entertainment. Becky Lynch's unplanned distraction at Royal Rumble 2019. Becky Lynch is one of WWE's biggest stars, celebrated for her grit, charisma, and knack for stealing the show. But even the man isn't immune to a bit of costume chaos. At the 2019 Royal Rumble, Becky was set to face Asuka in a highly anticipated showdown. The two had never clashed one-on-one on TV before, which made the match feel monumental. WWE had built up their rivalry perfectly, with both women trying to outdo each other in the weeks leading up. Their match delivered exactly what fans expected: fast-paced action, hard strikes, and pure intensity. But while the wrestling was on point, Becky's ring gear decided to rebel mid-match. A small wardrobe glitch forced production to get creative with camera angles to keep things family-friendly. Luckily, both women stayed focused and powered through, proving their professionalism. The moment quickly faded into the background, but fans who caught it live still talk about it as one of those rare, only in WWE moments. AJ Styles and the infamous TLC Tear It TLC, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs 2016, AJ Styles was deep in a fierce rivalry with Dean Ambrose. Their feud had been building for months, full of wild brawls, mind games, and championship stakes. This TLC match was meant to be the climax, and it absolutely delivered. The action went everywhere: ladders, chairs, tables, the announce desk, you name it. But what fans still chuckle about years later wasn't a slam or a splash. It was Styles' tights. Mid-match, during one of his explosive moves, his gear ripped at an unfortunate angle. It wasn't planned, and it definitely wasn't ideal, but AJ handled it like a pro. He kept going, unfazed, delivering one of his best performances, while the crowd couldn't help giggling. Even he later laughed about it, joking that sometimes you've got to show a bit of cheek to get the win. And he did win, walking out still champion. Ripped tights and all, Shawn Michaels versus Edge, tassels gone. Rogue wardrobe mishaps don't always mean someone's clothes break. Sometimes they just get caught in the chaos. That's what happened to Shawn Michaels during the Gold Rush tournament in 2005. He was battling Edge in a heated semifinals match, and both men came ready to fight in their street clothes to give it a more personal vibe. As soon as the bell rang, they went full throttle. But just moments in, one of Shawn's decorative tassels snagged on part of the entrance ramp. The result? HBK stumbled forward and hit the ground awkwardly. It was a rare, clumsy moment from one of WWE's smoothest performers. He quickly recovered and finished the match. But fans never forgot seeing one of the all-time greats literally tripped up by his own fashion. If nothing else, it showed that even legends can have off days, and that tassels are riskier than they look. Alexa Bliss in the case of the loose boots. Not all wardrobe mishaps are dramatic. Some are just plain inconvenient. Alexa Bliss found that out the hard way on an episode of WWE Raw in 2019. She wasn't scheduled to wrestle that night and wasn't even in her usual ring gear when Naomi suddenly challenged her to a match. Caught off guard, Bliss rushed to the ring and laced up her boots as fast as she could. But rushing has consequences. Partway through the match, her boots came loose, slowing her down and throwing her off her rhythm. Naomi took advantage, landing her signature rear view and scoring the win. Bliss later laughed it off, joking that she learned never to forget tying her gear properly. It was a rare reminder that even the most decorated champions can get tripped up by the little things. Literally. When Jake Roberts and Rick Rude had a tights tug-of-war, most wardrobe mishaps are accidental. But not this one. Back in the late 1980s, Jake Roberts and Rick Rude were locked in a heated feud. Rude was known for his flashy tights, often decorated with his own face or even taunting designs aimed at his opponents. During one particularly tense encounter, Roberts had enough of the showboating and literally tore at Rude's tights mid-match. It wasn't exactly planned, but it fit perfectly with Roberts' wild, unpredictable persona. The crowd erupted in laughter and shock while Rude scrambled to cover up. The incident became one of those bizarre, unforgettable moments from WWE's larger-than-life 1980s era, proof that sometimes pettiness can be just as entertaining as powerbombs. The unpredictable side of showmanship. What makes these moments so fascinating is how they humanize the wrestlers. These are world-class athletes, but they're also performers relying on intricate costumes while pulling off high-impact stunts. One snag, one rip, or one loose lace can turn a serious showdown into a comedy of errors. Yet what stands out most isn't the mishap itself, it's how the wrestlers handle it. Becky kept going like nothing happened. Ajay fought through a rip and still stole the show. Shawn laughed off his tumble. Alexa smiled about her loose boots, and Jake turned chaos into pure entertainment. Their ability to roll with the punches and wardrobe surprises is part of what makes them so fun to watch. Why fans secretly love these moments? Let's be honest. Part of why fans love wrestling is because it's unpredictable. The drama, the spectacle, the twists, and yes, even the occasional slip-up. Wardrobe malfunctions remind us that despite the scripted nature of wrestling, anything can happen live. These aren't bloopers from a movie set. They're real-time mishaps during intense, choreographed performances in front of thousands. Fans love that spontaneity. It creates moments people talk about for years, the kind you can't rehearse or plan. Even when things go wrong, they often make the wrestlers more relatable. They're not flawless superheroes. They're real people giving their all, even when their gear betrays them. Lessons learned and laughed about. Over the years, WWE has gotten better at preventing and handling these incidents. Wardrobe teams double-check everything, and production crews are ready with quick camera cuts if something goes sideways. Still, you can't plan for every wild landing or unexpected snag. That's just part of the job. Most importantly, the wrestlers themselves learn to stay cool under pressure. They've got to think on their feet, improvise, and keep performing while the crowd is reacting to something completely unexpected. It's a unique skill, and one more reason why being a WWE superstar is so much harder than it looks. The humanity behind the hype. At the end of the day, wardrobe mishaps are more than just funny moments. They're reminders that wrestling is a live, physical art form. These performers put their bodies and their wardrobes on the line to entertain us. Sometimes things go wrong, and when they do, it's how they handle it that shows their true professionalism. Becky, AJ, Shawn, Alexa, Jake, they've all had their share of unpredictable moments. Yet each time, they turn potential embarrassment into just another story for the highlight reel. That's part of what makes WWE magical. No matter how well you script the show, the human element always keeps it interesting. When real-life drama hit the ring, Jake Roberts versus Rick Rude. Sometimes rivalries in wrestling blur the lines between storyline and real life, and that's exactly what happened with Jake the Snake Roberts and ravishing Rick Rude. Their feud became infamous not just for their in-ring battles, but for a deeply personal twist. Rude's on-screen advances toward Jake's real-life wife, Cheryl. It started when Rude wore tights featuring Cheryl's image during a match against Tommy Angel, which shocked both fans and Jake himself. According to Jake, he confronted Rude backstage before the show and told him flat out that it was disrespectful. Despite being warned by Vince McMahon to let the storyline play out, Jake was adamant about standing up for his wife. When Rude strutted out in those controversial tights, Jake followed through on his promise and ripped them off mid-show. It might have gone against the script, but it created an unforgettable moment of raw emotion and chaos, proving that sometimes real-life feelings spill into the ring whether anyone plans it or not. The Trailblazer with a mishap. AJ Lee. Known as one of the pioneers of WWE's Women's Revolution, AJ Lee made a huge impact with her charisma, fearless attitude, and technical in-ring skills. Starting her wrestling journey on the New Jersey indie circuit in 2007, she was signed by WWE in 2009 and quickly rose through the ranks, eventually making her main roster debut in 2011. By 2012, AJ had become one of the most talked about stars thanks to her wild card persona and high-profile storylines with top superstars. She captured the WWE Divas Championship 3 times and held it for a record-setting 406 days combined, earning Slammy awards and the love of fans everywhere. Yet even the best have unexpected moments. During a 2013 episode of WWE SmackDown, while teaming with Dolph Ziggler, AJ had a small wardrobe slip when her top shifted mid-match. Instead of panicking, she handled it with confidence and humor, quickly adjusting and even joking about it later on social media. It became just another example of AJ's ability to turn any situation into entertainment and remain unshaken under the spotlight. A match cut short, Eva Marie. Eva Marie's time in WWE was filled with ups and downs, and one of her most memorable moments was an unexpected in-ring mishap that ended a match before it even began. Eva joined WWE in 2013, starting at the WWE Performance Center before becoming a manager for the Bella Twins and starring on Total Divas. She transitioned into wrestling, appeared on WWE NXT, and later returned to the main roster on WWE SmackDown in 2016. While she showed potential, her in-ring career was often interrupted by injuries or storylines that kept her from competing. On one particular night, Eva was scheduled to face Becky Lynch in a singles match, but just as the bell was about to ring, part of her outfit came undone. The referee quickly called off the match, handing her a towel while she stepped away. The crowd was left confused, and Becky was visibly frustrated, but the moment became part of Eva's on-screen persona as the star who always seemed to avoid actually wrestling. Though it was an awkward situation, it perfectly fit the dramatic, unpredictable world of WWE. A brave performance gone awry. Daniel Bryan. Few superstars have captured the hearts of fans quite like Daniel Bryan. Known for his underdog spirit, technical mastery, and his legendary yes chants, Bryan built a legacy as one of the most beloved wrestlers of his generation. A multi-time world champion, he's been part of countless unforgettable moments. But at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view in Philadelphia, Bryan had an embarrassing moment when his gear didn't hold up during a hard-hitting match against Drew Gulak. In the chaos of grapples, suplexes, and submissions, Bryan's trunks shifted out of place several times, briefly revealing more than intended to fans watching live. Despite the mishaps, Bryan stayed composed, kept wrestling at full intensity, and ultimately won the match. It showed just how focused and resilient he is. Even when things go wrong, Bryan never lets anything stop him from giving his best performance. Passion over protocol, how real emotion creates iconic moments. These incidents, while awkward, highlight the unpredictable nature of live wrestling and the human side of the performers. Whether it's Jake Roberts defying his boss to defend his wife's honor, AJ Lee brushing off an unexpected slip with charm, Eva Marie having a match canceled in the most dramatic way possible, or Daniel Bryan powering through a gear mishap to win, each situation revealed something deeper about these superstars. They're not just characters in a scripted show. They're real people who react in the moment, improvise under pressure, and sometimes turn mistakes into magic. Wrestling may be planned, but its greatest moments often come from what wasn't supposed to happen, and that's part of what makes it so endlessly fascinating to watch. The shock factor of the Attitude Era. The WWE's Attitude Era was known for pushing boundaries like never before. It embraced edgy characters, shocking stunts, and outrageous storylines to captivate audiences. While this bold approach skyrocketed ratings and created unforgettable moments, it also courted controversy. Vulgar language, risque content, and chaotic segments blurred the line between entertainment and excess. Many fans loved the unpredictability, but critics argued it crossed moral lines. This era proved how far WWE was willing to go to stand out in the competitive wrestling world. The backlash from sponsors and media's willingness to push boundaries has occasionally sparked serious trouble with sponsors and mainstream media. While bold storylines and edgy segments captured fans' attention, they often raised concerns among advertisers about aligning their brands with controversial content. Negative press coverage only intensified the scrutiny, putting pressure on WWE to justify its creative choices. In several high-profile cases, sponsors withdrew their support, forcing the company to rethink its approach. This backlash served as a wake-up call, showing that even wrestling's biggest brand must carefully balance shock value with protecting its reputation, business relationships, and long-term public image. Conclusion: the history of shows how pushing boundaries can both elevate and endanger a brand. From the shock-driven chaos of the two storylines that exploited real-life issues, WWE has often walked a thin line between entertainment and controversy. While some risks created unforgettable moments, others brought backlash from fans, media, and sponsors. These lessons shaped WWE's eventual shift toward a more family-friendly product. Ultimately, the company's journey reflects the delicate balance between creativity, ethics, and responsibility in the ever-evolving world of sports entertainment.